This is an interesting project that I really enjoyed working on. This type of work is a passion for me.
We're on South Creek in Farmington, Minnesota, which is in the Vermillion River Watershed. We're looking to do a habitat restoration project on a decent piece of trout stream that we have here. It's fairly shallow and wide, and we'd like to narrow that up and put some habitat features in to improve the trout and fish habitat. We have some water quality problems in the watershed, mainly from sediment, but in some cases low dissolved oxygen and degraded habitat. So it fits with trying to meet water quality standards that the state sets, but it also fits with the Vermillion's watershed plan, where we have goals for stream restoration and water quality improvements.
Trout would like to have cold, clear water that's fast and plenty of dissolved oxygen and cold temperatures. And in the Vermillion River, what has happened is the stream is a little bit too wide, and that makes it shallower, which makes it slower and not as cold and not have as much dissolved oxygen. As it's gotten wider, it's also gotten siltier, which covers up some of the hard substrate, which is like rock and gravel that we'd like to have in the stream, and it's also eliminated some of the deeper water that we'd like to have for work.
Back there, where we could pull in the bank.
As we've changed the landscape, either whether that's agricultural or if we change it by building new houses or creating stores or roads, we've altered the way that water comes off the land and makes its way to the stream. And most of the things that we've done have caused it to get there faster. So the water gets there faster in a short amount of time. It causes the stream banks to change the way that they flow the water, and in some cases a lot more water gets there quickly instead of, like, say, if it was going into the ground naturally. It all gets to the stream, it goes a lot faster, it erodes the stream bank, and then it starts to sort of collapse in on itself. And then that creates either a loss of pools or hard habitat, or it creates a creation of sort of thin layer of silt or sand over the substrate. Another thing that trout needs, any animal needs reproductive habitat to sustain, and so trout need hard, gravelly areas to be able to reproduce successfully, and when you get those silty sediments covering up the rock, then they can't reproduce anymore.
One of the things we look for is how can we get macroinvertebrates in here, how can we increase dissolved oxygen. Temperature is really something we can't do a lot with, but we do like to keep the shading intact if we can and still have the channel fishable. And then lastly, we look for how many pools can we get in the stream so we can get a lot of fish habitat on this channel.
This creek has really been a wonderful find, and it was a wonderful project to work on. Being able to get into the design process from an engineering standpoint, but also work from a fisherman's standpoint to come at some of these design features and say, okay, yeah, this is the hard engineering part of it, this is the floodplain access part of it, but now let's think about some of the trout habitat pieces of it that might accentuate the holes a little bit more and recreate some of the natural environments that the trout really like to live in.